You got a 888-627-6299.
6299. Yep, that's the number I was just on the phone with. But no, like I said, I'm not refusing anything. I just rather speak with HR first. Like I said, I'm sure there's other associates that could be swapped out. You know, if y'all not willing to even work with an employee like that, then I feel that it must be stemming from, like I said, issues that went on in the department
Well,
um, for the longest. And no, that's how I feel. That's how it
okay.
seems. Just for the fact that I was told at the end of the day, Thursday, that everything gonna be changing the next day, my next scheduled date, to where there was no um, advance notice or anything. I'm working all day. I've been there all week. Anybody could have came to me and say, D'Angelo, look, we're gonna be doing things like this. We're gonna be shifting you around, things like that, to get your mind prepared. Even if it was to give you time to speak with HR about it, to see if things could be done, to see if there could be a swap. But if you're gonna wait to the end of the day to try to tell me when I'm finna get ready to clock out, and HR is not available for me to be able to speak with about that at that time, things like that. Like I said, stuff like that is just outrageous. That's outside of what a supervisor, how a supervisor would treat their employees if you already have this information. Same thing with management. Management knew what was going to be going on last week, and if you sent it down to the supervisor should let the employees know. Now, if you want to try to exclude me from that communication just to make, just to create a little bit more hostility in someone's mind, because, like I said, this anyway. I'm not an NBA prospect or anything. You didn't draft me and then come in the locker room and say, "Hey, look, you going to another team? Pack your stuff, you gone." That's not what this is. I understand Tennessee is an at-will employment state. I understand that, but at the same time, companies, they have their own policy, they have their own way of being able to make sure their employees are in comfortable positions and things like that. At the same time, I've been here for 2 years, 3 months. Um, it's certain personalities around the warehouse where we've already kind of understood and we've already know. So to try to, especially when you have quiet, solitary people, you have introverts, you have those kind of people, you have management that should be able to point out those people rather than feeling like those people should be bullied in any kind of way, because that's what a lot of people do. The people that kind of keep to themselves, do their job, and they only keep to themselves because other people don't do their job. You can't end up in those crowds, because when you end up in those crowds, you're looked at as not doing your job. So, like I said, companies, managers, they have that obligation to be able to pinpoint their workers, understand what positions would make them comfortable, what position would make them uncomfortable, and to force them in a position that will make them uncomfortable, actually forcing them, and coming up with the excuse that you must be refusing or things like that. That's one of the ways that employer, they try to push employees out that they may not have a desire for. They may feel is a liability because they're bringing up issues dealing with the department, as far as safety, harassment, manipulation, just an overall hostile environment and things like that, that I brought up many times. Just working all week last week, keep my production up. At the end of the day, Thursday, getting ready to clock out, you saying, hey, your next scheduled day, you're going to be working somewhere else. Your schedule's going to change. So that's it. No, that's very
What
outrageous
do you
for
mean
any
schedule
supervisor
gonna
to do
change?
anything like that.
What do you mean schedule's gonna change?
As far as my schedule changing from, say, my supervisor told me that, okay, so when you come in, you can either come in at 5:30 or 6, but your new schedule gonna be from 5:30 to 4, and that's gonna be for a couple of months from now. So that's it.
It,
That's something that the communication wasn't even proper. I'm not a child where you're just gonna tell, look, this is just how it's gonna go, and that's it. You have a way to be able to communicate with your employees, and if you feel like that you can't communicate with them in the same manner that you laugh and joke and trip with everybody else, and even if you had information what was gonna be going on at 8 o'clock that morning, you wait till a person clock out to tell them what that things are going to change the next time they come in. Now that's one of the examples of being able to use your power to withhold communication and information from somebody that really need to know. You never know how a person's schedule is. You never know if a person really need to come in at 6 rather than 5:30 or whatever.
That time ain't changing.
Didn't give anybody advance notice, but these are things that I was told. At the same time, like I said, Wednesday when I brought that safety violation up to you, I don't know if anything was done about it or said about it, but just for the fact that I remember the tone of the pig mob when it changed as far as when I brought up that safety violation to you. Now, it was your obligation, I'm sure you probably did, to speak with the supervisor over there, speak with Supervisor Replay and everybody that's around those conveyor belts like that. And if you did, then most likely the supervisor heard about it because the safety violation dealt with the supervisor, dealt with 2 of the supervisors that were there with the coach trainer. So when you and I was speaking and we talked about that, maybe I didn't say exactly who it was, but the questions that I was asking you about it should have already let you know that that must have went on. And a lot of us, we do have that fear of just saying something about it and having that retaliation from someone who has a position of authority, whether it's to push you in an uncomfortable position or either to exclude you from certain communication that you need to know, especially when it comes to dealing with the workplace, certain things that we have to make sure that we take care of. We have a meeting Monday and Tuesday, so we got Wednesday and Thursday that we don't have a meeting. But of course, there are things that the supervisor probably should be letting employees know.
Excuse me, Mr. D'Angelo. I gotta interrupt 1 minute. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think that this looks like? You saying you're not refusing to report to another area. Your title is a general warehouse associate. And I'm not gonna try to make you go anywhere. We're gonna let you speak to HR. However, no matter how you look at that, you're being insubordinate. You're saying you're not refusing, but yet and still, you're sitting here in the break room, just sitting there.
No, I'm actually I'm trying to deal with HR Express, so I'm sure that I'm able to put my meeting code in to deal with HR Express since I came to work at 6 this morning and HR was not available for any employee that may have an issue.
I got a meeting that I need to get to with the rest of the team, but we did have a meeting now. The way our volume is set up, we got several associates that we've shifted from outbound to inbound. This came from the general manager of the building. So no supervisor in the area made this call. However, we did meet on Thursday, and it was probably about 11 o'clock, closer to 12 o'clock before we got done. It's only so much time in the day before we can get the communication out. I feel you. I mean, you feel like the communication wasn't where it needed to be, but it's still, we had to come up with a plan about how many associates we're going to pull from each area in order to still hit our business objectives on the outbound side and shift over to inbound. We shift and train associates that need to be trained. Like, this is methodical, has nothing to do with any retaliation. I can assure you that, but like, I got a meeting that I need to get to. Not saying that your time and what you need to say to me is important, but I'm telling you, I'm asking you to go over and you're refusing.
I'm not refusing anything. I'm not refusing anything.
I'm gonna.
But let me ask you this:
you can cede the money and Jamal when they make it. I can't sit here all morning and talk about it. Okay?
No, I was trying to deal with HR Express anyway. I said I wanted to talk to HR. But let me ask you this: as an operation manager, are you able to swap me out with somebody?
Why? Do you have any restrictions or anything like that?
You know my personality. It's almost like I wouldn't want to be shifted to another crowd where they also have the chance to, see, y'all don't understand these kind of things because it does happen. When you have people that just do their job, you have people that don't do their job that's going to always start trouble with them. Okay. That's just how that goes. That's happening. So listen,
I'm gonna have to circle back with you, D'Angelo. I got a meeting at 7 o'clock that I got to make it to. It's a long distance. I'm gonna have to come back. Unfortunately, I got a business to run. So
I know I'm just
here. I make sure the money knows that you want to speak with them.
Damn, I'm not refusing anything. Let's make that clear. Yes, I am not refusing anything. I want to speak with HR. HR is not here.
Okay.
So before I go into the area, I would like to speak with HR.
Yes, sir. Come on, Mike. I'm with you. I'll circle back with you. Not being rude. I got a meeting to get to.
Thank you. I understand.